There's a specific kind of person who feels guilty about something that brings them peace. They love being home, genuinely love it, but somewhere along the way, they learn to apologize for it, to call themselves antisocial, to wonder if something's wrong with them. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Society punishes people who don't perform extroversion. And if you're someone who finds the deepest rest, the clearest thinking, and the most authentic version of yourself within your own four walls, you've probably spent years trying to explain yourself to people who will never understand. You know this feeling intimately. When someone asks what you did over the weekend and your honest answer, "Stayed home, it was perfect," lands like a confession of failure. So you add details, pad it with justifications, make it sound more productive than it was. The surge of relief when plans get cancelled. Not disappointment, relief. That specific exhale when the text comes through and suddenly your evening belongs to you again. The way you curate your space with an intensity that other people find excessive. Every object placed with intention. Every corner designed to hold a specific mood. Because home isn't just where you live. It's the physical manifestation of your internal world. And here's what most people miss. The preference for staying home isn't about fear or avoidance. It's about something far more complex. People who love staying home have an unusually high sensitivity to environmental overstimulation. Not in a clinical sense necessarily, but in the way their nervous systems process the world. Every social interaction, every public space, every conversation carries a weight that accumulates throughout the day. It's not exhausting because they're weak. It's exhausting because they're processing layers that other people don't even register. Think about it this way. When you're out in the world, you're constantly regulating, moderating your tone, reading the room, adjusting your energy to match the collective frequency, filtering your thoughts before they become words. It's not performance anxiety. It's the mental load of translation, translating your internal experience into something palatable for external consumption. Home is where that translation stops. Picture this. You've just gotten home after a day of meetings, small talk, navigating traffic, existing in spaces that weren't designed for your specific nervous system. You close the door. And in that moment, there's a physical sensation, like your shoulders finally remember how to drop, like your face remembers its actual resting position. You're not decompressing from stress. You're returning to your baseline. This is the difference people miss. For you, being out in the world is the elevated state. Being home is equilibrium, but it goes deeper than energy management. There are layers to this. In the beginning, loving home feels simple. It's comfort, it's safety, a refuge from demands. This is the surface layer, the one you can easily explain to others. "I'm just an introvert," you say, and people nod like they understand. Then you start noticing the second layer, control. At home, you control the variables, the lighting, the sounds, the pace, the social input. There's no one draining your energy without permission, no one projecting their mood onto your space. You're not being selfish. You're protecting the conditions you need to function as your fullest self. The third layer is harder to articulate. It's about identity coherence. Out in the world, you fragment. You become the version of yourself that each context demands. Professional you, social you, accommodating you. None of them false, but none of them complete. At home, all those fragments come back together. You remember who you are when no one's watching. And that person, that integrated version, is who you actually want to be. Here's the part that might sting a little. Many people who love staying home are carrying an old wound about belonging. Not trauma necessarily, but an early lesson that the world required them to be different than they were. Too quiet, too sensitive, too internal. They learned that their natural state was somehow insufficient, so they built a home that would never reject them for being exactly as they are. You're not hiding from the world. You're recovering from years of being told your preferred state of existence was the wrong one. But there's a perspective shift that changes everything. What if the desire to stay home isn't a limitation? What if it's an orientation? Some people are oriented outward. They find meaning in external stimulation, in novelty, in the energy exchange of social spaces. They think by talking. They process through interaction. You're oriented inward. You find meaning in depth, in reflection, in the rich interior landscape that most people never develop because they're too busy seeking stimulation outside themselves. You think by being alone with your thoughts. You process through stillness. Neither is better. They're just different architectures of consciousness. The people who love staying home aren't rejecting connection. They're selective about the quality of connection they allow into their carefully maintained inner world. They're not afraid of life. They've just realized that their most alive moments happen in spaces where they can hear themselves think. Society will keep telling you that a full life is measured in how many places you go, how many people you see, how much you pack into your calendar. But you've discovered something they haven't, that richness can also be measured in depth, in how fully you inhabit each moment, in how well you know yourself. So when someone asks what you did this weekend and the answer is stayed home, you're not confessing emptiness. You're describing exactly where you needed to be. And that specific kind of person who feels guilty about finding peace at home, they're not broken. They're just finally honest about where they belong